I done wrong. Welcome back to episode 46, I think it is now. As you can see outside, it's snowing. It's Baltic here, so I suppose I better get inside to the heater. So before we get started, did a bit of a purchase on eBay during the week for some tools. Don't know if they're going to be crap or not, but we'll give it a go. I found a job lot of air tools on eBay. I really wanted this. This is what I went on for, the finger file, because they're wild handy to have basically. So I wanted this, but I got the rest of the stuff with it. So let's see if they work. So far, finger file, air hacksaw thing, 3/8 ratchet, I already have one of those. Palm sander, which needs a new pad. A nibbler, which I've never had before. 90-degree cutoff tool. I don't know what that's meant to go on to be truthful. Oh, it's a spare guard for that. Air hammer, which I don't need, and another Dremel, which I also don't need, but it was cheap. So, spare blades as well for the saw. It was cheap. I think it cost me, was it 75 quid or something for everything. So I'm going to try and clean the rest of this stuff up and sell it because I don't need it. There's the bit for the air hammer. First of all, let's see if the thing that I wanted works. And it does. Happy days. Anyway, enough of playing about with toys. I'm going to turn this compressor off. It's better. I can hear myself now. So, enough of playing about with toys. It's time to get back on to the joyous task that is wiring. Apologies about the last episode. I'm very aware it probably wasn't very interesting to a lot of people, but it's one of these tasks that I have to do, unfortunately, that, yeah, I can't, there's no other way around it. I need to do the wiring. I was a bit miffed in the last episode, and I just wanted to get it out and get it done, but this one, hopefully, will be a bit better. I need to get the newly gutted wiring loom converted over to blade fusebox, and I also need to do a bit of wiring for the headlights and stuff, but that can be done after. All the wires are in the car roughly where they need to be. All the switches are in the middle over there somewhere. Stalks and stuff are down there. So it's nearly there with the routing of the loom anyway. What else do I have to do here? Yeah, just get stuck in, I think, really, and get this over with. So, first port of call for this morning is going to be to get the battery hooked up, because I want to be able to plug this loom in properly and test it as I go along. So I'm using the battery cable that came out of this car. It's all heat shrink and wrapped in Copex to be protected. So I'm going to change the end on it at some point. I can't quite find I have a disconnect thing for it, but I can't quite find it right now. So I'm going to put this on temporarily. It'll do rightly for testing, and this goes onto the bulkhead fitting. So yes, let's get it fed through without scoring anything, hopefully. Remember properly, but I don't think that's the way it went in the old car. I think it went in there and up, but I'm going to try it this way to see if we can get the plastics in still. Just like that. Just like that. So that's the battery cable routed quite neatly, actually. Quite happy with how that turned out. I'm going to put a disconnect on there, and I'm going to, well, I'll either put it on there or on the earth. I haven't quite decided yet. The earth, I need to take this off obviously and paint it up and stuff yet, but just to get this all tested for now. And I think I'm going to be using a different battery as well. I think I'll be using my gel battery that I had out of my old car, as it is gel, and if you do overturn, which I hopefully I never will, but if I do overturn, it doesn't leak acid over you, so that's always a bonus. So yes, now that's in, it's rooted. It's rooted underneath this floor brace thing up onto the battery post and up in past the door card. I'm very aware you probably can't see much about that, but anyway, now that's on, I can start by putting the likes of this on the battery post up there, finding any other lives that I need to put on and making the loom live. Then I can fit the ignition switch and turn it on in theory and test to see as I'm going along that I'm definitely doing the right thing, instead of trying to wing it and then at the end turn it on and nothing works. So yes, that'll be next. Okay, so I have all the wires in the car ran roughly where they need to be. Next stage is to liberate some wires from this thing. This is an old scrap loom that I've already been cut up. So I need to get the Stanley knife out, strip some of this insulating tape off of this loom wrap, liberate the wires that I need and cut them out of the loom, bring them over there and extend them. Okay, so I now have these two multi-plugs with the lengths of cable they can get out of the loom. So it's time now to cut these off the multi-plugs and go and extend all the wires over in the car to reach into the new fuse box location, which is in the glove box. It's going to go into this, I believe. I haven't quite decided the location in the glove box yet, but it's going into this. So yes, better get cracking. Some of these wires were going straight into a splice, into the power splice. So they only have maybe, where is it? Oh, there it is. That's all the length of red and blue that's in the loom. So It's the same sort of thickness as the red I have here. So I'm going to run a new length of it over. It's the same with doing normal terminals. These things obviously then have a different crimp for each size. So there's red, yellow, blue and that as well to correspond. And then I give you a bit of flame at the end to seal it on. Don't know how far I'll get today, but I would like to get this to the stage where it's into the fuse box. All the car wiring, like the old interior wiring, is complete. Then I can start thinking about wiring up ECUs and stuff. In theory, once I have this wiring done and the fuse box is in place, it shouldn't take that long to come together really. The wiring side of things, that is, and getting everything turned on and tested, because I'll have all the stuff in place to just plug it in. Okay, so that's that bit of wiring done, and now I need to get these run over neatly and into the glove box. Okay, so I have the glove box temporarily mounted, as you can see. The wires are going to come through here for the existing fuse, or the old wiring fuse box. I think I'm going to mount it up there. So I'm going to take the glove box out, mount the fuse box, and then I can put it back in, measure wires, take it back out, cut wires, put spades on, put it back in, fit spades, job done, for now anyway. Okay, so there is said fuse box mounted up into the roof. There's a good bit of room to get the wires across and into all the spades. So yes, getting there. So, probably not the neatest you've ever seen. And he's tidied up a wee bit yet. Wires pulled through and cable tied neater and stuff. But it's in and it should work hopefully. Need to get a couple of wires trimmed back, new ends on them, and put them onto this battery post up in here. And then I can put the battery terminal on, ignition switch in, and see if certain different bits and pieces work as they should do. So, it's very much so still slung everywhere here. I'm very aware of all of that. But just to show you, obviously something's been a success. Whenever you turn the key on and you grab the side lights, you can see the side lights working. I don't have any headlight relays fitted yet, so they're not going to work obviously. And you put the wipers on. I set them on slow, set them on fast, and that should be them intermittent. Come on. There we go. So, done something right anyway. However, I've been here all day in the snow, it is freezing, and I am going to go home and have dinner and put the feet up for a while. I'm going away today a lot happier than I was whenever I left the last day. I don't know if you sensed it or not, but the last video I wasn't enjoying myself, to put it like that. And this now, all the standard wiring is worked out. In theory, a lot of this other stuff, in theory the heater should, no, I haven't connected. Okay, so heater. It works. Both speeds. Very happy. So, come to think of it, the key wasn't on there. I must have something wired up permanently whenever it shouldn't be. I done wrong? Okay, so another night, back down, and with a fresh head and about 10 minutes, I have sorted the ignition live, permanent live issue. I thought that I had ran there was a black wire on the old loom that I had labelled up Pinto Loom Ignition Live. Whenever I went looking for it on this loom, I picked the wrong black wire. We're going to see it. Okay, so on this battery post down here, we have thick red and a yellow. Turns out the black wire that goes on to the Pinto loom is it joins straight into that red and yellow. So I didn't actually need to look for a black wire because I already had the red and yellow on. The black that I had hanging over here somewhere that I just snipped to test is for the coil. So I can strip it out of the loom and reclaim a bit of new red wire back out of it. But now you'll find that heater is on there on the switch, not on the motor, thankfully. Turn the key on. Away we go. So another step forward, I can start tidying this loom a wee bit. And quite happy to have fixed that straight away because I wasn't looking forward to another night of stripping wire looms. So once that's done, I can start tidying that loom up a wee bit because that's all the original stuff sorted, and yeah, start trying to figure out what the flip I'm doing with my car wiring. Okay, so might not look much different or much neater, but the loom has been half tidied up, taped up again. That's just the standard stuff. All the other stuff is going to be taped into sub looms, so I know what it is. I have to do the lighting loom for this side, which is going to go out through that hole into the inner wing. I have the same on the far side to do. So it's going to run all the engine bay wires up in to the car. I'm going to maybe do that next. I'm going to work on the lights and stuff to get them all wired up so that I know all the standard stuff is done before I start playing about with my own wiring. I think that's the way to go. Again, I'm winging it, but I think I need to get the standard wiring all working. So get the lights, horn, indicators, hazards, and all working to make sure that I have the standard wiring perfect before I start adding extra stuff in. So prepare for a montage of some wiring. That a win. Hazards, fog lights, tail lights, number plate lights, all working. Just need to test the brake lights, which I don't have the pedal box fitted, so I suppose I could short the switch out. Might actually do that. But I need to sort that out, and I need to sort the reversing light out, which isn't actually wired up yet. So yes, all the rear end seems to work, so it's time to move on to the front end. Hello again, it's another day, daylight this time. Time to try and get the rest of this factory wiring done before we move on to the car wiring. Well, whenever I call it the car wiring, I mean the likes of the dash and the engine and all. Get the factory wiring finished and out of the road. Need to make a list, I love lists, and get the list of all the stuff that has to come through here on the Copex, so that I can start running wires. Obviously, the passenger side stuff through this, or driver side stuff through this side, passenger stuff through that side. So we need to work out what's going where, really. Obviously, headlight going on each side, indicator going on each side. Need to work out what side I'm running my electric fan wiring on, because it's going to be switched from a relay in the relay box in the back of the glove box, and switched from the ECU. Last time I had it on the wee switch on the radiator, which is still in the radiator. It is. So I need to work out. I think this is actually going to be my way back in for the turbo coolant lines, potentially. There's already a port on it, so I might as well use it. So, yes, that'll be next. Getting everything worked out, what's going where, and then running some wires, getting stuff working, all being well. Hopefully have the headlights going, and I have no indicators, no bumpers to put the indicators in yet, but I will hopefully get those going as well. I need to work out how I'm getting the wires to said indicators, because the wires are coming in this hole here. So the Copex indicators are obviously going to be out here somewhere. I could run them out this gap here, but you'll see, will you see that? You might not see that. I'll set the intercooler and see if you can see it. And yes, so time for some more wiring. Yay, I know you love it. So I got a wee bit carried away earlier on. I've been here maybe 3 or 4 hours now, and I still haven't got any further than the last bit of video because I started tidying. Did a bit of organising the shelves, put crates and stuff on, sorted all the stuff out again so I know where I'm starting from, and brushed the whole place up, sorted. I know it doesn't look sorted. A lot of that stuff needs binned and taken to the dump, so take it with me today. So yes, anyway, time to start. Need to get these bits of Copex looped from the bulkhead fitting here to the headlight bucket here. So probably have to drill some holes and cable tie it on, but for now I'm going to put it on here and thread all the wires out through that need to go through for the headlights. So I'm going to have there's only one headlight on each side because I am running a single H4. So if that's the case, all I need is one trigger wire for each headlight. So I need one thick yellow, one thick white on each side. It's going to be earthed to the body somewhere here, and it'll be, yeah. What else do I need? That's it. Side light. I need a side light for each side. So anyway, let's get on with it. Right, so that is attached on in there now. Should be tight. It is, well, ish. I'm not going to clip it up in yet because if it's sitting up in around the strut tower like this, it's hard to get cables fished through. Whereas if it's just hanging to the floor, gravity sort of helps. So I'm going to put the one on the far side now, and then I'm going to start feeding cables out to it. So, didn't record all of this because it's boring and because I need to think about everything, and it's quite hard, believe it or not, to do everything at once, trying to think about stuff as you're trying to film it, not make a twat out of yourself on camera any more than I normally do. So, all the wires that I think I need for this side are now drew in. Thick red one for the fan, yellow and white for the headlights, for the dip and main. The grey for the side light. Needs to cut the length obviously yet. The thin black and thin red for the washer bottle, wherever I decide to put it, I do not know yet. They might end up pulled back out and put somewhere else, but while I was pulling them, I thought, why not? Blue for the horn, but I said the side light, and the black for the side light on this side. No, not the side light. What have I got a black for? Indicator. Grey is the indicator, black is side light. I'll get there yet. This side, a bit simpler, thankfully. We have the side dip main and indicator on this side, so a bit simpler. So next stage now is going to be to try and get this fuse box wherever I've left it. must be in the car. And here's currently a bit of a spaghetti junction, but yes, it's in there. So I need now to join these two. These are the two trigger wires that come from the stalks over there. They need joined into the inputs of the relays. Then I need to join these two to the outputs, two to each, or one to each side sort of thing, off each of these wires. And I think I can then test the headlights all being well. Need to put earths in the front as well, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting somewhere. It has to look better or worse before it gets better. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. It's quite nasty in there currently, so once I get all this tidied up and into place, that's a good bulk of the wiring of the car done, and I'm quite happy with that. It all just needs connected up in the fuse boxes, and then I can start thinking about wiring my dashboard and my ECU up. And after that's done, I can start thinking about trying to program everything up. I have to configure the ECU yet for coil unplug. A bit of configuration changes and stuff need done to that. And I need to then program the dash up from scratch. I need to run all my fuel pump wires. I need to run my fuel sender wires. Speaking of fuel senders, it'd be too simple just to use the sender. Why would you do that? I am going to cut a hole in the top of the tank in the deepest point. I think it's somewhere about, it's very dark down there, hang on. That's better. The deepest point of the tank somewhere around here, I believe. This has had a hole cut in it at some point to check the swirl pot by the looks of it. But other than that, this 2.8 tank is mint, so it's being used. Because it's already got a hole in it. That one there is the old tank that came out of my car, and it's pretty good as well, but I don't want to ruin it at two tanks, put holes in two tanks. So anyway, I'm going to stop blethering, going to get on with some wiring, and yeah, buzzing to see all this spaghetti coming out of the front of the car. It means progress. So I didn't bore you with the rest of the wiring. You've seen enough, you've endured enough. It all needs tidied up yet, obviously, but it's all cut to length and hopefully fit it up. So, magic should happen if I say the words side lights, then dip beam, then full beam. So, brilliant job. Very happy now. I'm going to turn them all off. That nearly worked. There we go. Voice control is a bit temperamental. But that's them working. Side lights, the front are working. Haven't got the indicators wired up yet. I need to get fittings, which are, I think they've arrived today. Get them fitted up, tested. But sides, the horn should work. Does work. Great job. Yeah. Electrics at the front basically done. I've left a couple of spare tails. I've got the cooling fan and the earth for the cooling fan. The washer bottle, pump thing. That's nothing, that's a spare. And these are the two indicator tails is hanging out here. So we're getting places. I'm nearly ready. Once I get all this tidied up, loom taped up and looking nice, I'm nearly ready to start wiring the ECU and dash in, and then we can start not so long after that into getting her started, seeing what's going on. So anyway, you've endured enough. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button. Give it a like or a dislike if you don't like it. Doesn't matter. Just let me know. Pop over to the social media pages, which should appear somewhere here. And if you really like what you're seeing and you want to support the channel to help make the content better for you, the viewer, then my Patreon logo should appear somewhere on the screen and at the top right as well for the wee link to it. The links, of course, will all be in the description. And until the next one, which realistically is probably going to be more wiring, although I might take the axle and stuff out as well to get it sent off. So enjoy. Bye.